So let's get started with the Ryzen 7 lineup. The Ryzen 7 lineup consists of three processors: the 1700, which is the base model, the 1700X, and the 1800X. The 1700X and 1800X are higher end processors with a TDP of 95 watts, whereas the 1700 has a TDP of only 65 watts. All three of the processors have 8 cores and 16 threads.
So going into details about the three processors, as I can see, the 1800X is clocked at 3.6 GHz of base clock with up to boost till 4.0 GHz, and the 1700X has a base clock of 3.4 GHz with boost up to 3.8 GHz, and the 1700 has a base clock of 3 GHz with boost up to 3.7 GHz.
As for the pricing of these processors, the 1700 costs 25,000 rupees, the 1700X costs 30,000 rupees, the 1800X costs 40,000 rupees, and as for their Intel counterparts, the 6900K costs 85,000 rupees, the 6800K costs 35,000 rupees, and the 7700K costs 25,000 rupees Indian.
All the three Ryzen CPUs come with 8 cores and 16 threads, whereas on the Intel counterpart, only the 6900K comes with 8 cores and 16 threads. The 6800K comes with 6 cores and the 7700K comes with 4 cores. The 1800X, which is the top end Ryzen CPU, doesn't keep up with the 6900K in terms of performance. There's only a dip of about 5 to 10% in performance, as the results were published by many tech reviewers. But if you're going to pay more 40,000 for just that 5 to 10% performance gain, I don't think so that it's worth it. What I can see is that AMD is attacking Intel on the price to performance ratio. They are delivering better performance at a lower cost, and I think so that's the selling point of the 1800X or all the three Ryzen CPUs.
After the Ryzen CPUs were announced, there were huge expectations that Intel will drop their prices due to the excellent price to performance ratio given by AMD processors. But seeing their sales, I doubt that this has happened. AMD's Ryzen lineup was targeted to content creators, and AMD's promises of performance were matched. And as for content creators, you cannot have an infinite budget, and these processors were targeted to these content creators that did not have a really high budget. In terms of gaming, the Intel lineup, that is the 7700K, still beats the Ryzen, as most of the games right now do not need the excess of 8 cores that are present on the AMD lineup. Games are still optimized for lesser cores and higher clock speeds.
Alright, so the next is the Ryzen 5, which is aimed at the Core i5 of the Intel. So there are 4 CPUs in this lineup. The top end is the 1600X, then comes the 1600, then comes the 1500X, and finally the 1400. The top end Ryzen 5 chip, that's the 1600X, is clocked at 3.6 GHz base to up to 4.4 GHz, and it has 6 cores and 12 threads. The 1600 again comes with 6 cores and 12 threads with 3.2 GHz as the base clock and 3.6 GHz as the boost clock. The 1500X comes with 4 cores but 8 threads. It's clocked at 3.5 GHz base and boost up to 3.7 GHz. And finally the 1400 also comes with 4 cores, 8 threads with 3.2 GHz of base frequency up to boost up to 3.4 GHz.
As of now, only the prices of the Ryzen 5 1400 and 1600 have been revealed, and they are 13,000 and 16,500 rupees respectively. And the prices of the entire Ryzen 5 lineup won't go about 20,000 rupees.
So, comparing it with the Core i5, the Core i5 only has 4 cores and 4 threads. So, on the Ryzen side, you're getting double the amounts of threads, and plus the Ryzen 1600X and 1600 come with 6 cores and 12 threads. The i5 doesn't keep up with the Ryzen in this manner whatsoever. The 7400, that's the cheapest i5 that you can find, is priced at around 13,200 with a base clock of I think so 3 GHz and boost up to 3.5 GHz. But the overall performance which the Ryzen 5 will give will be any day better than the Core i5 7400 or any core. And basically all the Ryzen CPUs are overclockable, but in the Core i5. Only the 7600K, which is the flagship i5 processor, that's the only one you can overclock manually.
The Ryzen 5 lineup will mainly please gamers, and even though it's not its intended purpose, the Ryzen 5 lineup will fill a void between the i5 range and the i7 range of Intel, giving a perfect balance of both their features at a really low price point compared to the i7 range.
Plus, it delivers this kind of performance at the cost of an i5. Coming to a conclusion, should you buy the Ryzen CPU? Yes, no, maybe. That's all up to you. The Ryzen doesn't come with the Intel exclusive features that Intel has to offer. So if you're willing to risk them, then it's totally fine. Plus, if you're a consumer just like us, then those features won't mean anything to you, and I think so Ryzen is the best bet for you.
Intel has generated a huge user base in the 10 years that AMD hasn't innovated anything new, and due to that, AMD might take a while to generate that kind of users in India. But at its perfect price point, the AMD Ryzen is a really good processor to go for if you're ready to risk going for AMD after such a huge time gap.
The Ryzen 7 was released 1 month back, and we have all the results we want from various tech reviewers and all, and we know exactly how it performs. But the Ryzen 5's due release, at least it will be released after the video is posted, but it will take a time for all the reviews, all the performance and all the benchmarks have been released. So until then, you have to wait a while and check for it.
And AMD is still yet to launch the Ryzen 3 lineup, which will compete with Intel's i3. And looking at the Ryzen 7 and Ryzen 5, what AMD has to offer with the Ryzen 3 will be really something that we're waiting for.
I'm in love with the cocoa.